We're in a very different place today than we were last time.
We tried to record last week.
Feeling good.
Me too.
Yeah.
You're holding a little doll of Maggie Simpson.
Yes. I love this little doll. I had it. I was given this doll, this little Maggie Simpson. It's a doll. It's like not really an action figure. It's bigger than an action figure. It's like I don't know.
Like a hard
8.
doll.
It's like 7 inches tall, hard doll. And it's funny because so you know how she has her little onesie that like always goes like past her feet, but like I'm feeling like through the fabric and like she does have like feet under there. So it's just funny, this thing of like
they made the feet.
They made the whole like she will never see this part.
You can't take that off.
Well, of course you could.
Close, but like, does it like unzip?
No.
You would have to like
sewn
break
on.
it. Yeah.
But it's just funny. This thing is like, it'll never be seen. You know?
Yeah, it can only be felt.
Yeah, it can only be felt.
Think about that.
I can feel her little legs and her little feet under the Snuggie.
But they could be any color under there.
Right. But anyway, I took it into work for the kids to play with, but it wasn't very fun for them because they don't know who Maggie Simpson is.
Right. Yeah, that's so weird.
And that made me feel old.
Yeah, it's like, what's the equivalent of that for us? Where like someone in their 30s would bring some doll from a character. But The Simpsons is still on, though.
Wait, are you talking about when we were kids?
Yeah,
what that thing would have been?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Leave it to Beaver.
We're in a really different place today.
What was going on? We were just both really like down energetically last time, and it felt, just like lifeless.
Yeah, I mean, there really was no...
It wasn't like we were fighting.
No, there was just like, we were both like, just not... We were both just like maxed out in terms of like... we were both at a deficit.
It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
To try and
No.
Yeah.
And I think we probably knew it shouldn't happen. We shouldn't try to record, but we still
because it had been so long that it felt like we have to like break the seal.
This. Yeah. But then we very quickly were just like, let's give up. And that was really good that we did that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in this place right now where I am really trying to not do stuff I don't want to do. I mean, it's not like I'm completely able to do that, but compared to the past, where I kind of realized at some point I had this idea that I should always be doing things I don't want to do.
Dang.
Kind of like, because it's like internal dysfunction of like, well, yeah, if you left your own devices, will only do what you want to do and nothing will get done and you will not like achieve any of your goals kind of idea. But yeah, I had awareness around it for a while that like, it was like I couldn't even really access like, what do I need right now? Because there was a sense that I should always be like more disciplined than I'm able to be or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm always, in that case, I'm always, of course, set up to fail. But lately, I'm entertaining the possibility that it's like actually okay to be like, I'm going to do what feels good.
I sent you that Tilda Swinton thing, right? On Instagram.
I didn't see it yet.
You didn't watch it yet. But basically she's kind of saying that like she was like, I don't know what quote she was like drawing from, but she was like, the mountain comes to Muhammad or something.
Oh.
She was like, if you build a center in yourself and you are doing what feels right to you and feels good to you, like everything is going to like whip itself like around you and like come to you. And it's not a new idea, but loved hearing her speak on that. Martha Beck too also is like,
I was going to say,
she's like, I do exactly what I want to do. And my life is amazing.
That is such a threatening idea to so many people. And like, obviously it's like, there's a conversation to be had about privilege around that idea, of course. Yeah. I mean, think about like, it makes me think about just like content on social media of just like so much of what I see is like, here's what you need to do, like, here's what you need to do, whether it's like to get ripped or like to get your body in shape, or it's like to like be really successful, right? Like those are kind of like, I feel like the two main ones.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here's what I did in 2022 that made me, you know what I mean?
Whoa.
And it's like, yeah, there's so much of that.
I'm not getting, my algorithm's not that.
Yeah, I mean, that is so familiar to me of just like coming across friends or family or myself of like, okay, like I figured it out. Like I'm on this new thing. I'm on this
Yeah.
new plan, this new
Yeah.
regimen. And like, and it's like, usually those things are temporary.
Yeah. I totally I get, I mean, and I'm so susceptible to it as well. Like when you find something that feels really good, whether it's like a new like ritual or program or type of therapy, and you're like, oh my God, like finally, it's like finally, this is
Like me
exact.
with transcendental meditation.
Sure, but no, you haven't been going around like, you guys see, like it's just you, whatever problems you're dealing with, it's because you haven't done this thing yet,
Yeah.
So I'm definitely susceptible to that, and I'm really wanting to watch out for that, like kind of like the evangelical urge,
That's a good term.
because that's really not a fun energy to be around. And it's actually not really a fun energy to embody because, well, it kind of feels fun in the moment and it feels like exciting, and it's just sort of like bravado. Like I figured out this thing, isn't this cool? But you're not really like connecting with anyone,
Right.
over it.
Yeah, and that definitely makes me think of just sort of ideas around acceptance. Like this idea that I feel like is a bit of a platitude, but I happen to think it's probably true of like you're only really able to change when you accept like where you are and like what you are.
Rolling my eyes, nodding my head. Yes.
Right? Because it's like the other thing feels sort of counter to that, where it's like, oh, like, of course, this is what I've wanted the whole time, but it still feels like it's an external drive to like, it feels, I don't know, what is it? Why does it feel different than acceptance? It's like,
wait, what are you saying?
I'm saying the thing we're talking about, the evangelical urge of being like, okay, I found this thing and no, I'm going to do this and my plan is this. Like that doesn't feel like acceptance, right?
Acceptance of like how you are, like who you are.
That feels like seeking, right? I think there's like sort of a binary I'm thinking in my head between like seeking versus acceptance. Or it's like acceptance is like slowing down and allowing yourself to see like what is the nature of like what's really going on. It's like it's like a listening versus talking sort of idea, right? It's like stepping back and like allowing there to be space around what's going on as opposed to like bulldozing.
Yeah.
Pushing, which is like what most of us are used to.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a question in there. I kind of lost the thread.
Well,
but I agree with.
I think it's fine.
Feels good to talk to you, babe.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I thought one thing that could be fun for us to do is like we could like a sort of a gimmick of sorts. It's not what you think. Could just be like each episode we like kind of check in with like how much we like each other on this one, like a number,
scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Okay, I'm open to trying it. 1. 10 is like the most.
We could check in at the beginning and at the end.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 10 is the most.
10. No. Shut up. 10. It's like, no, I was going to make it like a fun, like I was going to make it fun where
no,
it's like on a scale. I can't come up with a good example because I'm not a comedian, but on a scale from like, barf to barf to jits.
Yeah, okay. No, I wasn't on board and now I'm on board.
Okay, well, you want to go first?
7.
I was actually going to say 7. We should actually, here's what we should do next time.
7's not allowed.
No. Yeah. 7 doesn't exist in
1
this
through
game.
10, but you can't say 7.
No, say it at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Okay. But when we check in at the end, we'll say it at the same time.
What if it goes down? It might.
Then we work with that. Okay? We work with whatever comes up. I just have to say, loving Charlie XCX album Brat. And my friend Audrey texted me this morning because we've been texting about how much we like it. And she was like, "It's a brat summer, Jay." And I just loved that. I was like, "Yeah, it is."
That's nice.
So, and she listens to it on the tube.
Oh yeah, in London.
That's her ritual. Ugh, love it. Okay.
It's very fun.
Okay, what's next? What's next on the agenda?
Well, we could check in a little bit. We haven't released an episode in ages
Check in
about like just what's where we are.
with the pod and just
No, I
life?
just more mean like in life.
Okay.
No, you're not
Well,
liking
I
that.
just don't really know how to do that, like in a way that's like my brain has a hard time synthesizing
Right.
information.
You say
So
that sometimes.
I've just noticed that that's a thing about me, and I'm actually like kind of it helps me say that because then I'm like, this is just like something about
Is
my
that
brain.
your Gemini moon?
I don't know. It could be ADHD, could be autism, could be both.
We don't. For the record, we don't know if you have autism.
We don't know.
But you're just leaving the door open for that.
I'm leaving it open. I'm not quite ready to be autistic. Yeah.
But you think you are?
I think I might be. It just feels like so much harder to accept than saying I have ADHD. There just feels like more of a stigma.
Okay.
Anyway, I lost you. That's okay. No, it's okay.
I just think
It's
you have
okay.
ADHD, but maybe you have autism.
I'm going to look more into it because this is what I do is I get curious about something and then I basically like, do the ADHD thing of like devour every single piece of information available.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess one thing we could just check in with is like the state of our relationship.
Bad. No, okay, let's do it. If our relationship right now were
a character in House of the Dragon.
Yeah. What character would it be? Definitely not Christian Cole.
Kristen. You always say Christian.
It's Kristen Cole?
Yeah, it's Kriston.
Oh. That really just sounds like such a modern name.
Yeah.
Kristen Cole?
I know. Everything about him sort of stands out. in a not good way.
For how like bad. Like
the
just
name
like
is fine. Kristen Cole. Well, that show is so funny. Oh, it's like the names are like Ray Nice and like weird, and then there's like Eric. I don't want to do this exercise.
No, this is bad.
But the state of our relationship, man, it's weird. It's not, I mean, like, it's good. Overall, it's good. Feels like we're in a place of like we're able to appreciate each other, which is always feels so stabilizing.
Yeah. I think you've been feeling more calm, even just like this week. Or yesterday, you were saying you felt more calm after your transcendental meditation. You did really transcendental meditation once, and now you feel
I feel
amazing.
like a cliche a bit, but like it is very different from mindfulness meditation. It feels like to me, it like takes all the pressure off of like how it ought to go in a way.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you chanting the whole time?
You're not making any noise.
Oh.
No.
Okay. But you got your mantra, babe.
I got my mantra.
You got your mantra. And did they tell you like don't reveal this to anyone ever?
They said basically there's like a tradition of keeping certain things to yourself because like the mantra is something that is like it becomes this very intimate thing that it's like it's your thing, and that like if they're saying like more and more over time, like the idea of like writing it down or like saying it to someone just feels like super weird.
Ugh, I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Okay, question.
Yeah.
Is it in a different language?
Yes.
But did they tell you what it means?
No.
Huh. Okay, it's not about what it means.
Well, they do. I'm worried now that I am revealing things I'm not supposed to reveal, but there is a process by which they choose it based on like the limited information they have about you. Like having like filled out something and talked to the person. There's
Cool.
like a big, like, library of
And like no
mantras.
two mantras are the same.
I don't know. No, I think that they are, but I think there's like a lot of them.
Okay.
From what I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been investing more in my personal life, my
My fun little
friendships,
life.
my friendships, my hobbies.
Yeah, I mean, you are seems like pretty sturdy.
I am doing Tracy Anderson method.
Oh, that's not what I was talking about, but you can talk. You mean if you feel like talking about that?
Well, it's just funny because I think I don't know, like even a year ago, I don't know if I would have been open to doing it because it feels kind of like she doesn't talk about like losing weight, but she kind of does. She talks about kind of like, like snatching and like slimming and toning and stuff. So I think that might have been too triggering to me. I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun with it.
Sure.
So, but it is just kind of a weird thing because I'm like, is this going to become disordered?
Right.
And will I know? How will I know if and when that does happen? But I think I can kind of trust when it starts to feel like I'm doing this in a like compulsive way.
And also, yeah, and it's like if it does become somewhat disordered, I think you know enough and trust yourself enough that you'll be able to, yeah, exactly, like see it and know if it feels like false.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. Yes, I'm taking a Spanish lesson every Friday. And I like my Spanish teacher. And he asked me what one of my favorite movies was, and I told him Phantom Thread. And so then
did he watch it?
He watched Phantom Thread, and he told me to watch A Ghost Story. So it was funny because today we were talking about it, talking about Phantom Thread, and he was like, "It's a little bit weird at times. I'm not gonna lie." He was like, the part at the end when he finds out that she's poisoning him and he is like complicit in it. I was like, yeah, it's weird. But that was kind of like the extent of where we could take that discussion. I'm always kind of like just so shocked by how much your personality changes in another language. It's just like it's really kind of destabilizing, but maybe there's also freeing things about it too.
I've always said this about my brother, like his personality changes for sure in Spanish. He's really charming in Spanish.
David?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, not that he's not charming in his specific way in English, but like, there's something that happens into him when he's in Latin America.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, guapo. That's so guapo. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still struggling with, I think, this process of acceptance where sometimes I think just being in a routine, it's like in a way it's so nice, and then I get scared where I'm like worried that like I need more adventure in my life. But what I think it is just like when you stop running towards something or like obsessing or like using numbing and distracting and escaping. Not that I've stopped doing those things, but when you like your awareness around that changes, it's like, unfortunately, the next step is not like everything feels great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a lot of grief comes up, and just like, because the things that you have been sort of keeping down or like trying to outrun now like have their moment to like step on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Waiting in the wings.
Yes. You know that saying, pain can't kill you, but running from it can?
No, but I think I get it.
That's a real bullseye. Yeah. I think it's cool too. Like, I think something sort of big picture to name is that when we started dating, we were drinking and taking weed.
Mhm.
Sorry, mom and dad. No. We were doing more weed and alcohol. Why don't you laugh into the mic? Why you pull away to laugh? You don't want people to know you think I'm sorry. I couldn't even go all the way with that.
Yeah, you're on a roll.
Okay. But so our relation, and so now I guess within the last year, we've really like started drinking so much less.
Mhm.
And it wasn't like we were like drinking like crazy, but like we would like drink and like get drunk, and like
Yeah.
sort of like have a
Continue.
drink and then like have another drink and then another,
Mhm.
it wasn't like we were blacking out, or anything like that. But why are you laughing at that?
It's funny.
Okay. So our relationship has actually, I mean, it's had to make many transitions, but
Mhm.
I think that is a notable transition. Like,
Totally.
like it's not as though our relationship was built on something false,
Yeah.
but then it's like, oh wow, it becomes more intimate because you're not like
Mhm.
under the influence,
Mhm.
right? You don't
Totally.
have that to sort of like lean on. Um so I'm definitely working on being more
Yeah.
vulnerable in general, but like more vulnerable with you and like,
Mhm.
trying to ask for things.
Yeah. You're doing a good job.
Thanks. When I was saying that, I was like
Mm.
feeling like
Because
because it just makes me feel like I don't like that experience
of
of
asking for
of
things?
asking for things and being vulnerable and like
Yeah.
I wish I could avoid it. There's just parts of me that are
Yeah.
like this is not good.
Yeah, there's like, in recovery, there's a big thing about like the illusion of like self-sufficiency that like that it's good to be self-sufficient.
I know.
And that's something, yeah, I think we both really grew up with.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have been drinking less. It's always so funny to like have this moment where you're like, this like thing I've been doing, and you look around and it's like literally everyone else is doing it, and maybe like that's just like me being oblivious. Like I can be so like
Yeah.
oblivious.
It's interesting drinking less because I've been drinking less for sure, but like now when I do drink, even though it's less than I would have, I'm much more like, am I enjoying it? Like,
Yeah.
was my life enhanced from having that beer or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so hard because I don't want to be like all or nothing. I don't want to be
Yeah.
like living with like rules and restrictions that are like absolute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it feels healthy. Like, just to have the like, just to have the like awareness around what is feeling enlivening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I'll have a drink and I'll be like, do I like this? Is this feeling good? And I'm kind of like sort of unclear. Usually that
Yeah.
means like it's like it's not good or it's just neutral. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if it's neutral, like why am I even doing it? Like
Right.
it needs to be like enhancing something.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. What do you want to talk about? I feel like this is already a good episode. And I don't think we need much more.
Well, maybe we could talk about the podcast.
Yeah, still like the idea of interviewing couples who would
Yeah.
be
I
open to
guess we
coming
need to
on.
find our we've had one couple on, but well, I
I'm
think
here.
we could. This is a short episode so far. I think we could this time have you tell the Razor scooter story.
I was just gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, this isn't like a story, but this is a pretty big memory for me. We were living in South Bend, Indiana at the time, and this was before my parents had started doing like deep inner work on themselves. So I was probably, I don't know, between like 10 and 13 at this time. And razor scooters were becoming a big thing. Did you experience this? Do you remember like
Razor scooters
razor
becoming.
scooters?
Yeah.
Why were they so popular? Because people hadn't really like had scooters like that before.
Scooters were kind of like, I think, like were more popular in the 80s, I think, or early
Huh.
90s.
Okay.
And they kind of like Yeah, they weren't so much of a thing, I think, for a while. So I think somebody
Funny.
just made a sleek new metal one that's like light and compact.
Yeah, it
Folds up.
folded up.
Yeah,
I
folded
remember
up.
like I felt like the wheels were kind of special or something, like that was like a smooth ride.
There was Razor phones too. But yeah,
Oh
go
yeah.
on.
Anyway, I think it was like my mom's birthday rolled around and she had kind of been saying like those look so fun. Like those are so cool. You know, like she saw people like ripping around on them and she was like, that looks fun. You know, and I think my dad like clocked that and like got her one, you know, for like Mother's Day or her birthday or something. And she lost it. She was so happy. She cried and she was like, I feel so seen, you know? And it's like, I mean, it's really beautiful. It's like,
Definitely.
I'm not laughing in a mocking way.
No, it's so,
really
it's
sweet.
like almost too much.
It's so pure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole story. But so then she had her Razor scooter. She would ride around on it and, you know, through the neighborhood. And we actually figured out a way to have 2 people on it at times. Yeah. And it was pretty fun.
I really appreciate about your mom that she really exists outside of the idea of like what's cool and what's not.
Oh my God.
It's very like
different.
It's cool.
Yeah. It's like that's not registering.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really beautiful.
My mom kind of does too.
Yeah. Your mom doesn't really care about being cool in a really good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay.
I think that's it. And I think it's time to share how into each other, how much we like each other now here at the end. Okay.
On the count of 3.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 7. I stayed at 7.
Okay. I'll work harder. I'll work harder next time.
Okay, what took it from a 7 to an 8?
Just connecting.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I was
But you're not affected
maybe
by
I
that.
was worried okay. I think I hate to say this, I hate to reveal this. I was maybe worried that your number wasn't gonna go up. So that's partly like why I stayed.
Okay, now mine's a 5.
See, this is like it's just so hard.
Are you in or are you out?
Are you of this relationship?
No, I mean like a favor with the other one.
Oh.
If we're like very like harsh, you know?
Yeah.
Just like
hot or not.
You had a chance, but
you
lost it, pal.
Love ya. Love you, kid. This is now I'm down to a 5.
Yeah.
I'm really down to a 5. This is really fun. And yeah, I'm glad we're back in the saddle and I'm excited for whatever this season brings.
Yeah. Happy summer, everyone.
Happy summer, everyone. We're gonna be blasting into your inbox, your podcast.
We're gonna
inbox
make sure to email you the episode every week.
And that's our show. Thanks for joining us. Our music is by Nightlight. We self-produce this podcast, so please subscribe, rate, and review. It really helps.